Right, let's get on with the newspapers and look at the front pages. And we start off with the Business Day. That's the one that's up first. So, Kim, I think you've got that one.
Indeed, I can. So here's Business Day. A picture of Joe Biden there, and following on that story that we just had a look at, US President Joe Biden meeting with Italy's Prime Minister, and they greeting each other at NATO's 75th anniversary summit in Washington on Wednesday. Quite a lot happening around Joe Biden at the moment. And then census, a work of fiction, according to scientists. Population count so flawed it can't be relied on, says a demographer. And scientists have torn into a government's latest census, saying it is so flawed it cannot be relied upon for allocating budgets and resources or for monitoring the impact of key programs such as childhood immunization. That's a huge one. Esidimeni inquest, top officials responsible. Life Esidimeni inquest has concluded that former Gauteng Health MEC, Esidimeni Mahlangu, and the former head of Gauteng's Mental Health Services, Makabo Manamela, were responsible for the deaths of some of the patients that were transferred from private facilities to ill-equipped NGOs 8 years ago. And also cyber criminals fleece public works of 300 million rand over 10 years. And this after you spoke to Dean McPherson yesterday, this came to light. So it's an interesting one all the same.
Literally, as the interview ended, that came through. So goodness me, there's lots happening there. All right, let's have a look at the Star. And this is one that most people are speaking about as well. And that is all about Gayton McKenzie, our new minister, and the uproar over name and shame list. Minister Gayton McKenzie insists publishing it was for the sake of transparency. So when we talk about publishing it, the minister has come under fire after releasing a list of about 4,000 beneficiaries from the 2020 COVID-19 relief funds following a public promise to name and shame them. The EFF, the ANC Youth League, the Creative Cultural Industry Federation of South Africa are among the groups that have denounced McKenzie for dehumanizing local athletes and artists in public regarding grant assistance. It is no secret that the majority of artists lamented their predicament, particularly in light of the pandemic, recognized restrictions on public meetings. So this was what the minister decided. He's doing it, and it's out there. It's in the public to have a look at if you want to see those names. So there's a big article all about that. Was it the right thing or the wrong thing to do? Well, you can weigh in if you like. VBS scandal, ANC heavyweight Msiza on the ropes. And this is about former Limpopo ANC treasurer Danny Msiza's back is once again against the ropes after his friend and VBS co-accused Chifiwe Matodzi was sentenced to 15 years in jail yesterday. And then ex-MEC director liable for 9 Esidimeni deaths. Big story in the news. 8 years after this tragic death of 141 mental health patients who were moved from Life Esidimeni, have now, there's liable cause there for Gauteng MEC, Esidimeni Mahlangu, the former, and former director of the Mental Health Directorate, Dr. Makabo Manamela. So that's the big story.
The Citizen, census data is rubbish. They're also going with that story. Census 2022, done during the COVID pandemic and released last year, is the highest undercount recorded by the UN Population Division for a national survey. Reportedly 31%, two top demographers had that to say yesterday. And this makes it unusable for government planning and resource allocation, and an alternative set of population estimates are urgently needed. Picture of the Tour de France there. Striking Ford SA workers speak out. A hot dog, 2 cookies and a Coke for the 100th birthday celebration, claims disgruntled employees. And overcrowding in jails, top priority. Petty offenders who cannot afford bail are an issue for the system, according to the minister.
All right, very quickly, the Sowetan. Let's look at that. Will she now face the music? Again, back on Life Esidimeni, 8 years later, the deaths of these patients have been placed at the door of the then MEC, Esidimeni Mahlangu, and Dr. Manamela, paving the way for their criminal prosecution. Goodness me. I am not a medical doctor or forensic expert, so I don't know what I don't know who died of what. That's what was said back in 2018 by the MEC, and she created conditions where death was inevitable. That's Judge Tefu handing down the judgment. He was our only child. Crash victim's dad speaks out, and how Mzansi socialites coined it on the COVID fund side.
And then, of course, our own website, www.sabcnews.com. There you have it, all the stories that we have to cover and so much more. Please feel free, as you can see there, RSG, all of our 18 radio stations, you'll find stuff from there as well. So feel free to go and peruse that. And here's the question.
There we go. All about electricity. 3 months of no load shedding. What are your thoughts on the performance of Eskom so far to date? At Morning Live, SABC is where you can send us an X.
Indeed. All right, 7 o'clock it is. Here's Leanne with your latest news.